How you doing, guys, and welcome to this really quick video on how I built my Ghetto 6K Pro rig. So what prompted this is I stripped down my P4K because I ordered my 6K Pro and I wanted my P4K to be my kind of run and gun handheld camera. And I didn't really like to film with the P4K because I always thought it was big and clunky, never worked really well on gimbals, etc. But it's only until I stripped it down and made myself a half cage that I realized how actually nice this camera is to hold and just to run around with. It's amazing. So I thought from that point forward, I'm not gonna build up my cages anymore. For the work that I do, it's nice and easy to, just quickly grab and go. And to be honest, I'm still at the hobby stage. So I'm not like you guys that need all the V mounts and all of these extra bits and pieces hanging off. I like to have mine ready to grab and go. So saying that, let's just jump into this build and I'll show you exactly what I did and how I built it. It's really ghetto, so don't start going off at me in the comments, man. Just take from it what you can and use what you can and then just move on, okay? Right, so every cage that you buy, it always kind of has like some screws on the side. Screws, you got screws here, you got screws on the top, screws on the other side. So these are so you can kind of take off parts of the cage. It's kind of modular, like Lego. So you can kind of strip bits off if you don't want the side piece or whatever. I've had that on my knockoff small rig cage. I've got it with my Nitsy cage. This is a more expensive version with the top handle and everything else. It costs about 130 quid, something like that. But every cage I've seen that you can make them modular. So I thought to myself, all right, the 6K Pro is bigger, but let's see if I can make it fit. So what I did was I got one of my cages. This is one of my old knockoff small rig cages. This cost me £29 from AliExpress, and it was a full cage, just like this one here. But what I did is I took off the screws on the bottom right. So if the case is facing me, it's on the bottom right. And I took off the ones from the top left as well. That left me with an L bracket. Now, if you saw Anneli's post in Facebook, you would have seen that he's done a similar thing with the tilter and he's showing you how to do this with a tilter. So big shout out to Anneli. Very good, very detailed post, man. And if you haven't seen it, guys, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. So anyway, I've got this L bracket now. It's basically an L bracket. That's what you've got. Now, there was two mods that I had to make to this cage. One of them was a bit severe, which is no going back. So I had to make a cut-in. And the other one was just to put a bit of tape on it as well. So what we've got here, you can see this here was one whole piece, but I literally got a hacksaw and chopped that piece out. The reason why I chopped this out is you'll see soon, because that's where the mic goes on the P6K Pro. So I had to make that space there. And also on the inside here at the rear, I've just got a bit of vinyl, bit of black vinyl and cut it. Because when you mount the 6K Pro, it sits right up against the metal. Now, when I mean sits right against it, I don't mean it's pressing on it or you have to force it. There's no forcing, it slots in absolutely perfect. But because it was close, I wanted something just to protect it. Because you know when you're moving, your cages still have flex in them. I don't know if you know that, but cages still flex. So I wanted something just to cushion it and pad it out. The good thing about it is all the holes at the bottom, they fit the 6K Pro perfectly. So you can put in 2 tripod screws, you can put in 1, whatever you want, it fits it absolutely amazing, which is I'm happy about. So let's go ahead and just build this up now. So small rig cage turned into an L bracket just by releasing some screws from the bottom, some screws on the top, and I made a cut here. So I'm gonna get my 6K Pro now, and let's just put it on top and you can see how it fits on. So that's how it sits. So you can see here at the rear, it sits really close to the cage. It's really close. So that little bit of tape there will just give it a little bit of cushioning. You won't get any marks if there's any flex or anything in your cage. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this down now. Okay, so that's in. So now we've got our L bracket on there. It's being held by 1 tripod screw in the bottom. Now, as you can see, the rear screw lines up with your second hole on your P6K. So you can now put another tripod screw in here, but it'll have to be a bit longer than your standard one. I think you're gonna have to go for at least maybe an inch, a quarter 20 screw, that's about an inch long to get right through. But I didn't want to do that because I want to mount this on tripods and stuff like that, and I want it easy. So I left it with 1 screw, do it up tight, it doesn't move. But yeah, that's basically nice and done. So now we're going to put on the Manfrotto mount and we're going to screw that straight to the bottom. Now this is what I use mainly for my tripods and gimbals and stuff like that. So I always like to have one of these permanently stuck to my cameras. So this one now needs something a bit different. So in the second hole, this is the reason why now I don't use a second hole, because in this second hole, I like to put one of these. So this is a 3/8 to 1/4-20. Yeah, so I'm going to put that one inside. And all of this stuff is available on eBay, Amazon. You can get it anywhere, AliExpress, wherever you choose to shop from, it's available. So there you go. I've got my 3/8 to 1/4-20 in the back there. So now this is going to allow me to put on the Manfrotto mount, and it's going to go in this front screw here, just in front of the vent, okay? So let me just screw that in now. So once that's screwed in, that's how it looks at the bottom, yeah? That needs to come down just a little bit. There you go. So that needs to come down just a little bit. Now you have full access to that second hole at the back there. So that's the reason why I left that one open, because now I can put another tripod screw in here. And it has, like I said, it has to be longer than your average tripod screw, but now that will stop it from spinning and you could go straight from there and you're good to go. But there's a reason why I left this open, and I'll show you that in a second. So I want to talk to you a bit about the small rig plate, the battery plate. So I've got a lot of questions on how did I mount this to my camera. A lot of people like the way I mounted it. So what I've got is this thing here. This is just like a plastic mount that goes left and right. It was for a smartphone holder, and I got it with a ring light. Now I'm trying to contact the person who sent me the ring light because I want to find out exactly what this is called and where I can get it from, because I need to order more. Now basically what it is, as you can see in the picture, it had a tripod screw mount on the bottom, yeah? So what I done is I took off this little cold shoe mount by the screw that was underneath in the bottom, and then I changed this handle. Now you don't have to change the handle if you don't want to, but I just wanted something a bit more robust that was easier to turn. But this is basically my new mount now for my NPF batteries. The mad thing about this is, when you look at the small rig plate, it's got the 1/4-20 screw in the bottom. This little hole here is not a 1/4-20. So you have to literally put a 1/4-20 on top and then force it down until it trains that hard plastic into to be like a screw mount. And then this one at the top is a 1/4-20, so you don't have to worry about that. So once you've forced the screw in and you've trained it to be a screw mount, you can then just screw this on until it's really tight inside. And now what you've got is a quick release MPF battery plate. So how does this attach to the camera? So remember earlier I said I left one of the holes empty? Now this is the reason why I left it empty. So I screw this into the bottom. Yep, that's it. Screw it into the bottom, and then I turn it up just like that. So now that becomes my NPF battery plate, and then you can just tighten it up from the screw. As I said, now you can see the reason why I changed the screw, because I wanted mine easy to access, yeah? Whether I've got it on my 4K or my 6K, I wanted it easy to access, okay? With the other screw, I just found it a bit annoying to try and tighten, so that's why I wanted it like that. And let me just spin this around. I want to spin this one more time. So I've got it right there, and that's it. So that is how I mount my NPFs. I'm trying to find out where that screw came from, the plastic mount, if I can buy them separately, because I want more. I want one for every single camera. And if I do, I will let you know in the future, but up until now, I can't find them separately, sold separately anywhere. But let's move on. So now we're going to add our small rig 15mm rod handle, just a standard 15mm rod handle. And this is used for follow focus, etc., stuff like that. Yeah, so that's locked on perfectly. So what I want to show you now is the cut. So the cut I made is for the microphone, so the microphone can fit in, otherwise it just wouldn't go in. So if I put the microphone, if you've got your microphone now, your 3.5, just plug that in and it fits in. The beauty of this is that if the microphone got dragged, it can't pull left or right. So it's kind of like a little holder for it as well. Like you can't really bang it. Like it's like a little bit of protection. So that's really nice. I wouldn't worry about the strength of the cage. This isn't snapping, trust me. Even though that the cut's made in there, these cages are really strong, okay? So don't worry about it. You know, you think it's gonna crack off or whatever. There's no chance of that. So the follow focus will just go straight into the rod here. And then let me tighten that up. And then now we've got our follow focus, we've got NPF battery plate, we've got an L cage which is going to protect your camera. We've got a Manfrotto mount here as well. So you can see we're building this up quite nicely. Right, handle. I don't even know if I should go into this handle, you know, because this was such a crazy job to do. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So this is an Arri handle, quality handle, it's vintage, it's for Arri cameras. You can see it's branded Arri on there as well. This was a bit of a mad one. So basically what this had was a big screw at the top, and I chopped the screw down till it was about, I don't know, maybe about 1 centimeter long. Okay, so I cut that off with a hacksaw. I've got like a 15mm rod, and I just screwed it onto the bottom because that's a 3/8 screw on that screw that was in the top there. Screwed it on. I've put a bit of rubber around here because I had to force it round to the right way, and then I put a cold shoe on top as well. The mount was a bit crazy to make because it didn't really have like a mount to mount it on the camera. So I had to drill 2 holes from here right through the wood. And what that allowed me to do is to mount it to a camvate handle. I had a camvate handle which cost about £17. It allowed me to screw these screws right through into this mount here. I then put another 2 screws here, and then there's one just behind it which you can't see, and those hold onto the NATO rail. So this is a solid handle, solid handle. This handle, I think I paid £30 for it. Yes, I could have got a normal handle, and you can use a normal handle for your build, but I wanted something a bit different. I just like to do this stuff, and it's just a nice quality handle, man. This is so comfortable in your hand. But anyway, let's put this on. So that will now just clip onto the side here. So that's straight onto the small rig cage, or my knockoff small rig cage, I should say. £29 cage. But you know what? I couldn't sell it. You know, people are not, you know, buying cheap cages like this because they might as well just buy it brand new. And I weren't going to throw it away. So I thought, you know what? Let me just repurpose it and use it. So as you can see now, I've got my rig here. You can see it's starting to fill out now like crazy. So now we're going to talk about my SSD holder, and I'm probably going to replace this at some point as well because I want something a bit more that looks better than this. This grey clip that you can see around here, that's basically a cap from like the USBs. You know, like you get them cheap USBs, they got the swivel little cap. That's basically what that is. Now what you can see here, you know those cheap cold shoe mounts, like the 1/4 cold shoe mounts, so you can put it in your camera and you can put lights on it or whatever. That's all this is. So if I undo this, you can see it acts as like a clamp, yeah? So when I connect it to my camera, what I do is I slide this into the mount, tighten this down, and then that becomes like a clamp. So now you can see I've got my SSD on top. That cost nothing to make, obviously. I just found like an old USB in a drawer, and that was, yeah, what prompted me to try and find something to clamp it down. And it works really well. So now let's just put on a lens. And we've got that, that modded Helios, which I showed you. When did I put that video out? Yesterday. Just put that Helios on. And then basically, that is the rig. Quite a simple rig, very strong. That's not going nowhere, okay? Perfect. Now, I mean, you could go and buy an L cage or an L bracket or the new brackets when they come out. Of course you can do that, there's no problem. But with me, I thought, you know what, let me repurpose this cage. I don't have to spend any money on anything else. Everything what I need is on here now. This can still slide onto tripods as well. I could put it on a gimbal. I doubt if I'll be using it on a gimbal, but I could put this on a gimbal if I wanted to. And the great thing is that it's so easy to break down and go back to handheld shooting. So let me just show you now when I break it down. So first of all, just take off my follow focus. Then take off my SSD. Then take off the small rig mount. The small rig battery plate. And then let me take off this this handle. And then you're back to handheld, and how quick was that? So, and like everything is just, it's just amazing, man. I mean, I really love this build, what I've done. I'm really proud of what I achieved here with this build, because everything fits. There's nothing pressing up against the cage. Like I said, just a little bit of, you can see how tight this one is here. Yeah, it's not pressing up against it, but if you do this mod, if you've got an old cage lying around, then just make sure you put a little bit of tape there, black tape or something like that, just to give it a little bit of cushioning. If you're not going to go with the small rig mount, because I understand you can't find the clamps yet, then just put another screw in here. But like I said, you have to get a bit longer, maybe about 1.5 inches, I reckon, 1/4 screw, and then plug it straight in the bottom, and you're good to go, man. So yeah, that's my rig. So guys, I hope you like that rig. I know it's ghetto, and I reckon it will suffice for some of you right now. And you know, and it will do the job until tilter or small rig, whoever else bring out something, you know, that will serve you better. Before you go, I just want to do one thing, and that is I've got this cage which I showed you earlier, this Nitsy cage. I'm doing a giveaway on this, and I'm going to do it for Europe, because normally when I've done giveaways in the past and it's only been for UK, but I'm going to do the whole of Europe this time. Sorry guys from America, but it's just too much to post overseas to America, stuff like that. So I'm going to do this for UK, Europe watchers. So what you'll get is this cage, which is a Nitsy cage. It's perfectly molded to fit a 4K or 6K. It's totally modular as well. So you can turn it into a half cage, a 3/4 cage. You can literally do anything you want with this. It's actually mad. And also what you'll get with it is a Nitsy clamp as well. This is your HDMI USB-C clamp. You'll get a NATO rail. And the NATO rail is for a Nitsy top handle, which you'll get that as well. So this is all totally brand new. I've never used it. The only thing I used was this NATO rail, but I don't need this anymore. But you'll need this to put on top of the cage. Now I'm going to give that away to one lucky person. The only thing you have to do, obviously, is like this video, leave a comment, and at the end of your comment, just say, I'm from Europe. Whether you're in the UK, whatever, or European country, just say, I'm from Europe. And I will use one of those online contest pickers to pick out someone who says I'm from Europe. Just, you know, whoever wins it, just be grateful for them, and just, you know, wish everybody luck. And yeah, this will be going to a new home. So guys, thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit crazy, a bit mad, but I hope you get something out of it, and it gives you some ideas to, you know, kind of build your own cage for your 6K Pro until something more solid comes out. Take care guys, I'll see you on the next one. Later.